to another exciting edition of PC Voyage. I'm Diana McLean.
And I'm Andrew Doughty.
And today we're here to talk about CompuServe with Rainey Lavalette. Hi, Rainey.
You know, I like being on that side of the table much better than this side.
Not today.
No, that's okay.
Not today.
Well, I'll be back there next week.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Rainey, what is CompuServe and what can it do for the computer user?
Well, in a previous show we talked about Prodigy and online services in general. CompuServe is, if you say Prodigy is the most popular, CompuServe is probably the second most popular computer bulletin board in the world. The good part about CompuServe, unlike Prodigy, is that you can use any communication software. I mean, they've got tons of basic services. They've got extended services. You can talk to support staffs at Microsoft, Borland, IBM. And in a day like today where a lot of companies are dropping the standard support, like Microsoft, for example, is dropping support for DOS and for Windows after 90 days. With a product like CompuServe, you extend the life of your support. And you know, for $9.95 a month or $8.95 a month, it really keeps you in touch with all what's going on.
So you can talk to the techie people.
You can talk to the techie. You can leave mail. You can leave electronic mail in a forum. You can also see what other people are using. If other people are calling using, like say, Windows, you have a problem with Windows, you can go through the list of everybody else and see if somebody else has had the same problem as you. And we're going to show that a little bit later. There's also a lot of informational services. You can send mail to anybody in the country. You can send, you can do games and investing and all kinds of neat stuff that we'll get into here in a minute.
Wow, that sounds great.
And next, here's our trivia question.
Hi, welcome back. I hope you were able to answer the trivia question.
Those are going to be tough, aren't
tricky,
they?
tricky,
it's
yes,
really
definitely.
Only for you guys, only for you guys. I know it just like that.
Oh, such modesty, such modesty.
I mean,
Huh?
some of us have to correct Keith on the grammar. I mean,
Ooh, a slam towards the producer. It's terrible. It's
hey,
terrible.
when it's deserved.
Okay, so let's see what we got here for CompuServe.
Well, first thing I thought we'd show is the basic services. And actually, let me even go back one step. With CompuServe, you can use a standard communications package, whether you're using Procom, Bitcom, QModem, thank you. You can also use what they have, their CompuServe Information Manager, or SIM. And this is the Windows version. They have the same thing for DOS, for the Mac. And what this is this is a guide to help you go through the system. You know, if you're into some of the extended services, you're paying by the minute. So the longer that you're in there, the more you're paying. So with something like this, you can get through the system a lot faster. Let's go ahead and look at some of the basic services. Now these are all covered in the monthly fee if you choose to go that way. And you get into things like member assistance, communications, news, weather, sports, travel, electronic mall and shopping, games and entertainment, reference, stock quotes, and personal finance. And let's just start down here sort of at the bottom. Let's say you have a stock that you want to check on. And they have a section in here called Basic Quotes. You can also go into Fund Watch online. You can do a symbol lookup, mortgage calculator. Let's just go in and look at some basic quotes here. And while it's doing that, oh, it blew it away. Oh yeah. As you can see here on the top of the screen, the button bar at the top of the screen, one of them is quotes. You can actually build into the Windows version of the software a list of quotes that you own, that you want to monitor. So all you got to do is go up here and click on it, and it will give you your list, and you can add to the list, and you can get the stock quotes within 15 minutes to a half an hour.
Very helpful, huh?
Let's say we want to find one of our favorites, Disney. And what it will tell us here, it will tell us that here's the volume, here was the high, and the low, and the last, and it went down a point today. Bummer.
Now is this updated you know...
This is the end of the day quote. It says 10:19. This is the end of the day quote. If you were to watch this, say, at 1 o'clock, it would tell you that this was last updated at like 11:30 in the morning. And then you can keep doing this, you know, for as many issues as you want. The hardest part, like here's IBM went down 0.625 today. And it says, by looking over here on the screen, with the asterisk, it says that there's current news on this company, and you can actually search it by going into the executive news service, which is an extra fee. There's actually a surcharge for that. But say we didn't want to do this. Let's just say we want to get out of this. It'll bring us back out of terminal mode. And let's say we just want to go in and watch the stocks that we own or that we monitor. I got some fun ones here on a list. Wait for this to come back here in a second. There we go. Now the quotes here, this is a standard list of quotes. Of course, I have Ben and Jerry's up on the top. And let's just go ahead and say, let's get them all. And with this, it will go ahead and get all the pricing, not just individual issues. And you can actually track them. So it gives you here Ben and Jerry's. Today the high was 17.25, low was 16.25, last was 16.5, went down 0.375.
Now, could you print this or do something?
Well, you can do several things with this. One of the things that they've just built into the software, this is the latest version of the software, they have a portfolio manager. And let's say, for example, that you bought IBM, you bought 400 shares at, oh gosh, what's IBM going for? What was it on the list?
$49.
Let's say you bought it at $60, and you bought it on 1/1/92. All right, it brings it over here, tells you what you did, and then you can go in and do your report. And it'll actually give you a portfolio report of this and any stock you have in there. Tells you your market value, how much you spent for it, according to my make-believe numbers here, sort of, but the real numbers. It says that you're at a 27% loss. You originally paid $24,000, market value is $17,000, you're at a loss of $6,600. You can put your whole portfolio in there. And I believe you can take the numbers from here and transfer them to
Lotus?
Quicken. You can actually capture it because you're in Windows. You can cut it and clip it into Lotus if you want to. That's one of my ones I like the best. If you want to go into news, you can do Associated Press Online. They also have the Online Today Daily Edition. And what this will do is this gives you all the news that happened today. And this is just touching on some of the services. I mean, there's so many here. We can go in and look at today's Monitor News for Tuesday, October 19th. And here's the major PC-related news. You know, Tandy sells a division. AT&T is going to put out some PCs. This is updated as they get the news in. If you want to go into Associated Press, that's updated every hour, unless there's something late breaking. Copyright notice.
How about the weather?
The weather. Yeah, updated hourly. I'm going to the weather. Let's go into the other weather, not Associated Press weather.
Now, would this be the weather strictly for this area, or could you look up, let's say, the weather in Florida to find out how Florida's on?
You can actually look up the weather from anywhere. It does a nice map. One of the nice things about this, compared to Prodigy, which Prodigy is a little different, but you don't get the little advertising on the bottom of the screen.
But obviously there's a charge. There's charge involved with this, whereas Prodigy was, you know.
Well, this is still $9 a month, $8.95 a month to be precise. Pretty competitive with what Prodigy offers. You can actually, if you want to get a map of Springfield, Mass., you can bring that up on the screen. We want to view the map. And in a second here, it will paint the map. Now, this is running at 9,600 baud. If you're in the extended services, there is a fee for the 9,600 baud that's more. Let's expand this out so you can actually look at the whole map. It's just as fancy as what Prodigy offers, and actually that was pretty fast getting that up onto the screen. CompuServe is not as graphical. I mean, it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need the graphics that you need for Prodigy. Some of the other things that you can do, one of the nice things on here is they have what they call the electronic mall. And let me back out of this.
Well, the shoppers would sure love that.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Let's see, where do we want to go? Electronic mall. They also have all the Consumer Reports online. If you're not a subscriber to Consumer Reports and you want to find out about dishwashers or something, you can find out what Consumer Reports' latest information is. They also have on here Roger Ebert's movie reviews, and in fact, you can actually talk to Roger Ebert. He is online.
Oh, wow.
You can do the weather, the sports. Grow Year's Encyclopedia is updated quarterly. The American Heritage Dictionary is on here. Let's enter them all. You can actually check for State Department advisories. If you're traveling out of, overseas or to Miami, you can check on the State Department advisories. Now here's them all. Now let's say you want to get shopped by merchant. Let's start with, let's get down to the R's. Arbitrarily pick that. We can go into National Relocation Network, Rent Mother Nature, Safeware Computer Insurance, Sierra Online, the Small Computer Book Club. And let's say we wanted to go in there and look at computer books. Well, we just pick 8. And we're now part of their little store in the mall. We can join the club, we can shop our store, we can do a quick search to find out what titles they have. Let's just go in and shop our store. And you can do this with hundreds of companies. I mean, they've got JCPenney's, AT&T, Barnes & Noble, Computer Shopper, Air France. I mean, if you want to do all kinds of crazy things. This one here has different books, different subjects. So if you're looking for a computer book, you can go ahead and order them directly from here. And it's a good way of going through it. Everything's all menu-oriented. It's very easy to go into. If there's a topic you want to find, back out of these. If the topic you want to find, you just go into find, and let's say you want to find books. And in a second here, it will give us a list of all the all the forums. The Barnes & Noble Books, Book of the Month Club, Book Review Digest, books in print, and as much as you want to know about books.
Wow, that is truly amazing. I love that. Well, now
we got to get you online.
Yeah, definitely. That would be great. Right now, though, we have to wrap up for our trivia answer. Well, let's find out if we got it right. Welcome back. So did you get the answer correct?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course I did.
Of
What
course I
else?
did. Before we get back started again, did you not wash your face before you came on today?
No, like Star Trek, I decided, he grew a beard and made him look more...
Well, I grew one over the summer, and you gave me all kinds of grief for the 8 weeks that it lasted, and thankfully it didn't last any longer.
Oh, God. Well, before we talk about extended services, I just wanted to mention that CompuServe also brings out a magazine. It's, what, every month?
Every month. It's a monthly
month.
magazine.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out as part of your basic service. And so on top of for $9, you get a magazine that has a cover price, fictional cover price of $2.50 a month. And it tells you new services, new software to download. The latest issue broke out the top 10 list in various different categories: top 10 graphic files, the top 10 files for the Mac, top 10 files for the PC, top 10 Windows games, Windows shareware.
Speaking of rates, I mean, how much does CompuServe cost these?
For you, it's expensive. It's out of your reach. For everybody else, it's pretty reasonable. I've been on CompuServe for a long time, and they just started when Prodigy came along. Of course, that increased the competition, so they changed the rate structure. They have two. The basic membership is $8.95 a month, and if you want to use the extended services that we're going to get into here in a second, it's $8 an hour at 2,400 baud and $16 an hour at 9,600 baud. They are offering 14.4 service in some cities. It's very limited. It's like major cities only. The alternative pricing, if you're not going to use it every month, or you're only going to use it for half an hour a month, if you want to waive the $8.95 fee, they have an alternative pricing, which is $12.80 an hour for 2,400 baud and $22.80 an hour at 9,600 baud. The only difference is that you're not going to pay. You pay the $9 if you're not using it. But I figured it out that at about 4 hours, you're actually saving yourself enough money to pay for the $9.
Oh, yeah.
And for anybody who's a software developer or supporting PCs, you almost need something like this, and most users do as well. But why don't we get into some of the extended services? What I've got here is I've got a, let's go do it this way. In the computers and technology, any service that has a plus next to it is a extended service that you pay for by the hour. I'm going to look at some of the software forums. If you have software from any of these companies, it may be worthwhile for you to sign on to CompuServe. There's Adobe, Apple Macintosh, Artisoft, Central Point Software, and this is we're just up to the C's, Corel. Most of these are actually run by the companies themselves. A lot of them CompuServe will run as a separate user group. But like say, for example, let's get down to, let's get out of this, let's cheat a little bit. One of the things, the nice part about the sim is that they have favorite places that you visit often. This list comes up a lot faster. We're going to Microsoft. These are all the Microsoft forums all the way through here.
Oh, and no plus sign.
That's because I didn't put them in. The plus signs are there, believe me.
Okay.
A little beep to tell me that we've left the basic services. And you'll see the plus sign come up in a second. There she is, MS-DOS plus form.
We should have known.
Yep. And as you can see, it came up pretty fast. If there was any notices, any new updates, anything that they felt that you should know about, there would have been a little notice flashed up here on the screen. If you have a message waiting in this area, the waiting button will appear. But let's just go in and look at the different messages that are in there. And these are all the different messages that they have it broken out in. Let's go in. Let's see. A lot of people have problems setting up DOS 6 or MS-DOS in general. Let's go and look at people's problems today. And here's somebody here with an MS-DOS 6 system hang-up. Here's somebody here that's having problems with DOS 6 and QEMM. So if you're going to use QEMM, let's go see what kind of problems that they're getting, and maybe it'll solve your problem. Let's see here. He's running QEMM 5. He's not sure whether he should remove all the QEMM commands before installing DOS 6. And these are kind of standard problems. And it's just a couple of average guys calling up the system, and you're not going to see it here probably.
No, this would be actual tech support at Microsoft answering these questions.
I mean, not necessarily. If you feel confident answering a question, you can answer it yourself. You don't need to wait for Microsoft. I mean, a lot of times Microsoft will slip in antivirus updates, a DOS 6 question. Somebody here is asking a question. He wants to know if there's been updates to DOS 6. And in fact, the person that answered is not from Microsoft. So, I mean, you can get responses to a lot of your questions from outside just the main source. A lot of times you should find different vendors, especially Microsoft. They can't comment on something that's either not out, not available, or like QEMM where they may not be using it. So with a case like QEMM, you can actually go to the Quarterdeck forum, talk to the QEMM people, and get your answer that way. Let's go and take a look at the other forums that are on here. We're just looking here at software. Let's go and look at some of the hardware forums. This is not as complete of a list, but it covers most of the major brands. And it beeped that we entered back into the basic services. Yeah, the button bar with this version also can be customized while we're waiting here. The button bar can be customized. You can go in and select or change the icons. Like say if you never use the mail in or mail out bins, you can change them with one of the other selections.
If you don't want stocks, I mean, you wouldn't really want the stock icons.
If you don't want the stock quote, but you want something else, oops, hello, we crashed. Sounds familiar from last week, doesn't it, Keith? I think we're back. I think we're okay. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Here are the hardware forums. That didn't take long. We have, the Apple II, 3, Macintosh, Artisoft, Atari users, Canon peripherals, CD-ROMs, CompuAdd. I mean, one of the nice things is I was looking to buy a CD-ROM. I went into the CD-ROM forum, and somebody up there had put up a list of all the CD-ROM drives on the market, how to buy a CD-ROM drive, so it was very helpful. But this is what they consider the hardware. This Gateway 2000, Kodak CD, Intel, IBM, Tandy has forums, Packard Bell. I mean, just about any hardware manufacturer you can imagine has forums up here. There are a lot of other extended services. As you go into even the news, we can get into extended services. The sports is an extended service, or they're part of the sports that are extended services. Also, you find too that like Florida has a forum. There's a global crisis forum, a business wire. Rush Limbaugh has a forum up here called the Issues Forum. If you want to contact the White House, actually, let's do that. If you want to just do Go White House, and CompuServe is all based on Go commands. With CompuServe, you get a book like this, and it gives you lists of all the forums on the system. And you can just type Go, whatever it says in the book, and it will bring it right into that forum. And here, we're welcome to the White House forum. There's answers to the questions for Clinton's project. Nobody's actually quite sure if he does read the questions, but letters to Mr. President, technology and space, letters to the Justice Department and FBI. Well, let's see what kind of questions we're getting. Hopefully nothing too rude here. Gun control comments. You can really get into some real issues on here if you want to, not just the hardware and the software issues. There are a lot of, like I said, a lot of things. Here's a little map that CompuServe puts out. And this just lists these services available, if I can ever figure out how to open this. And here's a list of the services that they offer. And they put it on this map so you can hang it up on your wall. And it's supposed to guide you through using the system. Everything from the entertainment and the games. There are online games that you can play either by yourself or with others. Magazine databases, science and technology, space and astronomy forums, computer training forums, ham radio forums. And you just about name it, and they've just about figured out how to get it onto the system.
Now, Rainey, as far as email is concerned, is there any charge to write a letter to someone? I mean, we write a letter and there's a 29-cent stamp on it. I mean, is there any charge here?
Email is free, and it's actually rather easy to do. We can just, through here, we can just say, let's see, what do I want to do? We'll just go in mail. And we can go through and we can send somebody an actual mail message. And if he's watching, he'll know that he's getting this piece of mail.
Do you have to know somebody that also is on CompuServe? That
I mean, if you wanted to find people that are related to you, you could go through and search for like all the McLeans in Massachusetts and send them all email if you wanted to. If you're trying to send up a family reunion of, whatever. I'm sure there are far fewer Doties. It's probably an extinct species by now. So.
Not hardly. Not hardly. Much to people's demise.
This thing lets us do this here. We can go through.
Well, why don't you do that while we take a break, and we're going to send you the address. If you have any questions, comments, or anything about the show, we'd appreciate it if you wrote in, and let's let them write down that address.
Absolutely.
Hi, welcome back.
You know, aside from the comments and questions you can leave on CompuServe, write us and ask us a question. Maybe we'll answer it on the air.
You'd do any better than she did. One last thing I want to show you in CompuServe here real quick, because we only got about a minute and a half, is if you're really into games and contests, you can win some pretty wild things on here. There's a contest here sponsored by Air France. You can actually win a trip to Paris. And on this, it's kind of rudimentary, but it's the same question every day. You can play this every day. Some of them you can play once a week. They had Jurassic Park contest, where you can actually win a trip to Jurassic Park. Just kidding.
What is the largest city in France?
The largest city in France. Real quick, come on. Don't look at me and laugh.
Oh my goodness.
It must be Paris. It must be Paris. Not Marseille or any of the other ones. You're correct. Très bien. Your name has now been entered in this week's drawing. And what you can do is, if you want, is you can go in and see if you won anything. Of course, it usually says, your CompuServe ID has not been selected as a winner. Do that. And there's a lot of other ones. There's one on here right now where you can actually win a trip to space camp. So,
Wow,
Yeah.
that's something
Pretty good for the
else.
kids. Yeah, great for
Or
the kids.
for us grown-ups.
Yeah.
We're still kids.
That's right.
Still kids,
That's
right.
We're all
Absolutely.
kids. Like the dandy.
An old man. On that note,
Well, I think CompuServe seems like a really great thing to get.
We're stretching a few more seconds here.
I'm going to go right out and
All you need is a modem and a piece of software. If you want to use the CompuServe software, that's great. You know, it's like an extra $25, but you can just use any communications package.
well, that's
fantastic,
wonderful.
fantastic.
Now that's the end of our show. We're glad that you joined us. I'm Diana McLean.
And I'm Andrew Doty.
What about me?
Don't forget, Randy Lavalette.
Until next week.